Hello, dear students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the chemistry of anti-cancer drug, anti-tumor drug or neoplastic, anti-neoplastic drugs or drugs which are used in treatment of the cancer or you can say cancer therapy. In the previous video we have discussed about the cancer, tumor as well as the neoplasm. As we have discussed in the last video that anti-cancer drugs are the drugs which are used to prevent or in treatment of cancer. Now we are discussing about the anti-cancer drug. So first about the classification, that things also we have discussed in the last video, that anti-cancer drugs may classified into different classes like anti-metabolites, alkylating agents, antibiotics, plant products, miscellaneous compounds, hormones, and immunotherapy. So now we are discussing about the one by one. First class, that is anti-metabolites. What do you mean by the anti-metabolites? Anti-metabolites means anti to metabolites. And what do you mean by metabolites? Metabolites means any chemical component that is synthesized into the body as an intermediate or byproduct, they are called as metabolites. Say for example, DNA, RNA, proteins, hormones, you can say, these are called as anti-metabolites, means they are synthesized by the body. So for the cell, especially you can say the metabolites for the cell will be DNA, RNA, and protein molecule, because these metabolites are utilized by cell for their growth, development, and in cell division. So we are here today, we are going to discuss about the drugs which can antagonize to the action of metabolites. And as we know, we have discussed previously about cancer or cancerous cell or neoplasm, that uncontrollable growth of the cell, that is called as cancerous cells, and the mass of the uncontrollable cell, that is called as small mass, is neoplasm, then larger one is malignant neoplasm. Malignant neoplasm convert in tumor, tumor convert into the malignant tumor will convert into the cancerous tumor, and cancerous tumors you can say the organ cancer. So that we have discussed in previously. So we had discussed, we had understood the meaning of the antimetabolites, that antimetabolites, especially the DNA and RNA, which are antimetabolites or which are synthesized by the cell for their own development, growth, and cell division. So antimetabolites are such compounds which essentially prevent the biosynthesis of normal cellular metabolites. So what do you mean anti to metabolites? Means antimetabolites are the drugs or agents which can prevent the development or growth or biosynthesis of metabolites that are produced during by the cell for their growth and development, and they are generally possess close structural resemblance to the metabolite which is ultimately antagonized. So these compounds they have the structural resemblance also with metabolites for which they are used to antagonize them. So I think you understood the meaning that metabolites are any compounds which are may be synthesized by cell for their own use like DNA, RNA, proteins. Or antimetabolites are the drugs which may prevent or can inhibit the biosynthesis of these metabolites. So then from what happen? Like cancerous cells in which these metabolites will not be synthesized, and what happen? Cell division of the cancerous cells will not be takes place. So the development or the growth of the cancer or cancer tissue or neoplasm will be prevented, inhibited, and that's why that is the fundamental part that is used here as a antimetabolites. So look at here, the drug that is used here as antimetabolite is methotrexate. Methotrexate is a antifolate drug. Antifolate drug, the chemistry of the methotrexate, first look at here that methotrexate have three parts in their structure. Looks like a long structure but it's very simple structure. We have to divide into three part. One part that is here a cyclic ring. Two rings are fused together, and the four nitrogen containing two fuse ring system that is called as pteridine. This is pteridine, pteridine, pteridine. P is the silent here. Pteridine, students. So this first nucleus is pteridine. Another, there is PABA, para-aminobenzoic acid. That is para-aminobenzoic acid fused with a CS2 linkage. Para-aminobenzoic acid. And lastly, third section, the ending section, that is a amino acid, glutamic acid. Is a glutamic acid is amino acid. So you can say three component of methotrexate. One is pteridine nucleus. So in between middle part of the substitution, that is PABA, and last one, that is glutamic acid. So these three part join together and form methotrexate. So like this pteridine nucleus and this you can say methotrexate, that is especially responsible for binding to dihydrofolate reductase, dihydrofolate reductase. So what is the mode of action? Look at here. This methotrexate may able to inhibit dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. Dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. What is the use of dihydrofolate reductase enzyme? The dihydrofolate reductase enzyme prevent the conversion of, you can say dihydrofolate reductase enzyme is responsible for the conversion of dihydrofolic acid into tetrahydrofolic acid. Means it convert DHF to THF, and the THF, tetrahydrofolic acid, is responsible for, or you can say it is essential component for DNA synthesis into the normal animal cell. So look at here, what do you mean by this? That this tetrahydrofolic acid, THF, is responsible, is important component for the DNA synthesis, and that is uh, synthesized from dihydrofolic acid, and dihydrofolic acid make able to convert into the tetrahydrofolic acid in the presence of, that is, dihydrofolate reductase. So this dihydrofolate reductase enzyme is inhibited by methotrexate. So what will happen? The dihydrofolic acid DHF will not be converted into the THF. That's why the THF will not be available for the DNA synthesis in the cancerous cell. So DNA will not be available in the cancerous cells, and that's why the method, you can say, the cancerous cells will not be grow. And look at here one thing more, that methotrexate is not very specific drug. It may also, the side effects of the cancerous drugs. The cancerous drugs have the side effects that methotrexate may also inhibit the, you can say, DNA synthesis into the normal cell also, as compared to cancerous cells. So what happen along with the cancerous cells, some normal cells also may destroy. So that are the side effects of all chemotherapy, all cancerous chemotherapy. So that is the side effect for that side effect of the methotrexate. But thing is that by this way only the methotrexate can prevent the growth of unwanted, you can say, undesirable cell division in the body or neoplasm. So I think you might be understood about this antimetabolites. Now look at the next antimetabolites, 6-mercaptopurine. As you know, the purine is the purine base, uh, two ring fused purine base. I think you might be gone through into the purine and pyrimidine base. There are the nitrogen base in the DNA structure of DNA and RNA that you have discussed. The purine base, that may be the uh, two especially, that is guanine and adenine, or adenine or guanine, you can say. So that is two purine bases. So as you know, the 6-mercaptopurine is similar structure, just similar like, you can say, the purine analogs. So it's a purine analog, mercapto SH group at position number 6, that is the 6-mercaptopurine. And you know that purine base like uh, adenine and guanine both contain hypoxanthine. Hypoxanthine, that is structure in this, in your in the screen. Look at here, number 1, starting with the number 1 nitrogen, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 ketonic group, 7 nitrogen, 8 and 9 there is again nitrogen. So that is the hypoxanthine. And the nitrogen bases, means especially purine bases like adenine and guanine, they are derivative of hypoxanthine. So 6-mercaptopurine have the similar structural resemblance to the purine analog. Purine means by adenine and guanine. That's why what will happen, as per their structure and resemblance, they may antagonize the purines which are involved into the DNA synthesis. So in place of the purine, 6-mercaptopurine may incorporate it into the DNA synthesis. So you can say this is called as false incorporation. False incorporations of, I can say, in place of purine derivative, purine analog, 6-mercaptopurine will be incorporated, and you can say false DNA that would be formed, and that may be breakable. So it may not be stable, and it, we can say indirectly, you can say that DNA molecule will not be synthesized. So by this way, these 6-mercaptopurine as antimetabolites, and 6-mercaptopurine is antimetabolite to the purine nitrogen bases. So the synthetic 6-mercaptopurine is an antagonist to purines, which are essential constituents of DNA. It serves as a specific replacement for hypoxanthine, a naturally occurring intermediate in purine synthesis. I think it is very clear to you all. You understood the point that cis mercaptopurine have structure resemblance with purine analog like adenine and guanine, and in place of adenine and guanine that are very essential component or nitrogen bases for pure DNA synthesis. So in place of purine and uh, guanine, these 6-mercaptopurine may incorporate it, may involve into the purine synthesis, DNA synthesis, and as false incorporations. That's why what happen that DNA that is synthesized, that will be destroyed and DNA will be rupture. Next, 6-thioguanine. Next antimetabolite is 6-thioguanine. As per their name, there is the guanine. So they are the derivative of their analog and structure resembles like guanine. Guanine, just like again the purine base that I have told you, adenine and guanine both are the purine base. So the structure of the guanine that we have discussed in the hypoxanthine, there is position number 2. The hydrogen is replaced by the NH2 in the guanine in hypoxanthine. That is we have discussed in the previous slide. So look at here, this is the guanine structure, and this is the thioguanine. Position number 6, ketonic group is replaced by the SH thio group. So that is the thioguanine, and thioguanine that is, you can say, structure resemblance with guanine, and similar like 6-mercaptopurine, 6-thioguanine also may incorporate in place of guanine and in the DNA synthesis, or you can say DNA will not be synthesized because of thioguanine is not a natural component for DNA synthesis. So these are the antimetabolites. Thioguanine is the antimetabolites of guanine, and DNA will not be synthesized. The cancerous cells DNA will not be synthesized, so cell will not be grow. Another D, that is cytarabine. Cytarabine, it's again antimetabolites, and its structure is resembled to the pyrimidine analog. Pyrimidine is the thymidine. Thymidine, you know, pyrimidine, cytosine, and thymidine and uracil. These three are pyrimidine analog. Uracil present in the RNA, and thymidine and cytosine that is present into the DNA as a pyrimidine basis. So the pyrimidine base, that is here thymidine. So the thymidine, that is its structure resemblance or its structure, that is cytarabine, is antimetabolites or anticancerous drugs or antimetabolites cytarabine, and its structure is similar like thymidine. Look at here at position number 4 in the, there is in the thymidine, the nitrogen start with number nitrogen numbering. 2 the ketonic group, 3 there is nitrogen, 4 there is ketonic group, 2,4 dione, say 2,4 dione. So there is a 5 position methyl group. So this 4 position ketone group may replaced by NH2 group, and the 5 position methyl group is not there in the cytarabine. All structure is similar like thymidine. So cytarabine have similar, just you can say structure similarity with thymidine or cytarabine, similar like other antimetabolites. They may false incorporate, they may involve in the synthesis of DNA. So in place of thymidine, cytarabine will be involved into the DNA synthesis, and DNA will not be synthesized in the natural way. So DNA synthesis in the cancerous cells or in the neoplasm will be prevented. DNA synthesis will not take place, so the cell will not be divided. Cancerous cells will not be divided. So that is another 5th antimetabolite is 5-fluorouracil. Dear students, as I discussed with you that this pyrimidine, because there are the two types of nitrogen bases, purine and another is the pyrimidine. So purine analog that we have discussed, adenine and guanine, and uh, thymine, you can say, and uracil and cytosine, they are pyrimidine analog. So as you know, the uracil is present into the RNA. So as you know, the pyrimidine analog, so that is, you can say, 2,4 pyrimidine dione, that is IPC name for uracil, and the 5-fluorouracil is the structural resemble with the uracil. Only thing is that at position number 5 there is the fluorine group, fluoro, so 5-fluorouracil. So similar thing is that as we have discussed previously about the antimetabolites, that antimetabolites may be incorporated in place of uracil. The 5-fluorouracil will be incorporated in the RNA synthesis, and the false RNA will synthesize. And you know that RNA will not be synthesized, then protein synthesis will not be takes place into the cell, and cell will not be grow, cell will not able to collect their material or and metabolites which are used, which are necessary for cell division or cell development. So cancerous cells will not be grow, will not be divided because of RNA will not be synthesized. If the patient will use or we give the 5-fluorouracils to the patient, the 5-fluorouracil will be uh, involved into the RNA synthesis in in place of uracil. So what happened now? We are discussing the mode of action. Also, this also the 5-fluorouracil first get phosphorylated to the nucleotide to be active, and as such inhibit thymidylate synthetase as a key enzyme in the biosynthesis of DNA. Thymidylate synthetase is the enzyme which is responsible for biosynthesis of DNA. 5-fluorouracil, that is have the similar structure resemble to the uracil, and that is also inhibit the thymidylate synthetase, and the thymidylate synthetase, that is again involved into the DNA synthesis. So there is the two, because again mode is the important mode is the thymidylate synthetase, 5-fluorouracil phosphate, that is that may inhibit the thymidylate synthetase. And what happened, the cancerous cells DNA will not be synthesized, as well as also the in RNA synthesis the 5-fluorouracil also act as antimetabolites, and in place of uracil it will not be synthesized the RNA. So that's why in this way that 5-fluorouracil act as an antimetabolites. Another antimetabolites is dacarbazine. Dacarbazine, it is an antimetabolite of 5-amino imidazole 4-carboxamide, has been shown to inhibit DNA synthesis, probably by blocking the formation of inosinic acid. Inosinic acid, as you know, inosinic acid or inositol, inosinic acid or inositol, they are the important component of the DNA synthesis, or you can say purine analog. So inosinic acid and purine inositol, they are required for DNA synthesis, and the inosinic acid may be synthesized from you can say in the body by various other components, imidazole derivatives, especially 5-amino imidazole 4-carboxamide moiety. There is structure is in front of you. 5 amino 5 1 2 3 4 5 amino imidazole 4-carboxamide, 5-amino imidazole 4-carboxamide, 5-amino imidazole 4 carboxamide, that is here. So in place of 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide, this dicarbazine, it's having the structure resemblance with 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide, and this 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide is important component for synthesis of inosinic acid, and inosinic acid is important component for synthesis of DNA. So what happened, the carbazine is a structure resemblance, it have the structure resemblance similar structure like carboxamide, or you can say imidazole 5 amino imidazole carboxamide. You look at here that CO, the this NH2CO group, that is replaced by imino groups here in the the carbazine, and this amino group is converted to imino groups. So rest is similar structure. So it means they have the similar structure resemblance, and that's why I have told you previously that all antimetabolites, they have the structure resemblance with the metabolites. So this carboxamide or 5 amino imidazole carboxamide, which are important component which are used in normal cell, or you can say for the synthesis of inosinic acid or inositol, and inosinic acid or inositol is involved, is required for DNA synthesis. So what happen, this 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide, in place of that the carbazine will involve, and you can say it inhibit the DNA synthesis by blocking that synthesis of inosinic acid. So that's all, that's these all are antimetabolite drugs. Again I am revising which one is the antimetabolite drug that we have discussed in with previously. That is one is methotrexate, that is antifolate and inhibit the dihydrofolate reductase, pteridine nucleus is containing. Another is 6-mercaptopurine, that is analog of the hypogenthine, and it inhibit, you can say, DNA synthesis because of in place of hypogenthine or adenine or guanine, it will be involved. Similar like thioguanine, third one, that is guanine, structure with the guanine, that the structure similarity with the guanine, thioguanine, so it inhibit again. Similarly cytarabine, the structure resemblance, structure similarity like thymidine, that is a pyrimidine base. 5-fluorouracil, that is a structure resemblance with the uracil. Uracil is, you know, pyrimidine base, and they inhibit DNA synthesis by that inhibition of the thiamidylate synthesis. And last one, there is dicarbazine, that is have structural resemblance with the 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide, and they inhibit the inositol or inosinic acid formations, or you can say DNA synthesis. So dear students, this is about the antimetabolites. Now we are discussing next class about alkylating agents. Alkylating agents, as I discussed with previous video, that alkylating agents are be able to alkylate the you can say DNA and RNA of the normal cells, and they may inhibit the DNA and RNA for their functioning part. So alkylating agents are chemically reactive compounds that combined mostly readily with nucleophilic centers, a fully saturated carbon atoms of alkylating group becoming attached to the nucleophile. So what happen? This they are the nucleophilic center, you can say, and they may be attached with the nucleophile and alkylate it. Okay, so that is the alkylating part. So drugs which are may able to alkylate, that is mechlormethamine. Mechlormethamine, look at here, there is a chloroethylene groups, two chloroethylene group on the nitrogen and methyl groups. So there is a methenamine, you can say. So mechlorethnamine or hydrochloride. So mechlorethnamine, that is a ethylene chloride, can say dichloroethylene group or amino group, you can say quaternary compound, so chloride is salt. Another is the thiotepa. Thiotepa is a phosphorus, nitrogen and sulfur containing a compound, and This is the triethylene thiophosphoramide. Triethylene thiophosphoramide is phosphate, and phosphate is contained with the sulfur double bond and 3 nitrogen. They are present in the ring structure. There is a ethylene, you can say ethylene ethylene, you can say nitrogen containing in the 3-member ring. So triethylene thiophosphoramide, it's a name for thiotepa. Another is the chlorambucil. Chlorambucil is a nitrogen mustard derivative. Nitrogen mustard derivative. Why it is called nitrogen mustard derivative? Because its structure, because benzene and nitrogen amino group is substituted by chloroethylene group, 2 chloroethylene group the nitrogen, and there is butyl, we can say butyric acid at position 4. So the chlorambucil. So that is called as the nitrogen mustard derivative. Another the melphalan. Melphalan, there is the phenylalanine mustard. Melphalan, if you look at here again, that ethylene chloride, 2 molecule, that is nitrogen, and another there is a amino acid group that is on position at para positions, CS2, NH2, CO, CS2, CS2, that is phenylalanine derivative. So that is phenylalanine mustard. Why the mustard? Because it contains the chloroethylene nitrogen, 2 chloroethylene group on the nitrogen. So this is called as mustard, like nitrogen mustard previously, and this is the phenylalanine mustard, the common name for melphalan. So that is the beta position, and this is the melphalan. And another, that is the carmustine and lomustine. They are the nitrosourea. Carmustine and lomustine, they are called as nitrosourea. Nitrosourea, it means the nitroso group is there, and urea and CO group, CO-CS2 group. This is the urea group, NH2CO, CS2 group. So nitroso group and CS2 groups is attached there. Carmustine, look at here in center, the NH2 nitroso group, and urea group, NCO, NH, and side chain nitrogen also contain 2 ethylene, the chloroethylene groups at position 1 nitrogen, and chloroethylene group at another nitrogen. Carmustine and lomustine, 1 chloroethylene group is present, and nitroso group is there, but another nitrogen, or the urea group, another nitrogen that contain that is cyclohexyl group. So there is a lomustine. So these are the 2 carmustine, lomustine, they are called as nitrosourea. Nitrosoureas category, carmustine and lomustine, nitrosoureas category, and they are classical alkylating agents, but they also inhibit DNA repair by isocyanate formations. So they also inhibit the DNA repair, DNA repairing, or DNA synthesis by isocyanate formation, because isocyanate that is formed here, nitroso group is there. So nitroso group convert into isocyanate group, and isocyanate also inhibit the DNA repair. So that is another important mechanism for carmustine or lomustine. Another last drug that we have discussed here, the cyclophosphamide. Cyclophosphamide, look at students, a cyclic ring, the phosphorus is present in the 6-member ring, oxygen is there and nitrogen is there. NH group, phosphorus and oxygen. Oxygen, phosphorus and nitrogen both are present in 3 positions, and the phosphorus also contain the you can say oxygen with coordinate bond, nitrogen, and 2 chloroethylene groups add on the nitrogen. So this is the cyclophosphamide. This is the cyclophosphamide, because phosphamide is there, and cyclic group, cyclic ring in the phosphamide is present. So dear students, I am again revising this alkylating agents. What do you mean? You look at here in all cyclophosphamide, there is chloroethylene group is there. Carmustine, lomustine also contain the chloroethylene group. Another phenylalanine also contain 2 chloroethylene groups. Chlorambucil also contain 2 ethylene chloroethylene groups. Thiotepa is not contain chloroethylene group, but ethylene group is there, because nitrogen is contain 3-member ring, nitrogen containing 2 ethylene groups, CS2 group. So 3 nitrogens and 3 CS2 group, ethylene groups. Look at here, this chlorombucil, mechlorothamine also contain chloroethylene groups. So, and So these all drugs: miclormethamine, thiotepa, chlorambucil, melphalan, carmustine, lomustine, and cyclophosphamide. They all contain the CS2 group, CS2 group, ethylene group, CS2 group, and this CS2 group is known as alkylating groups, and these alkylating groups that can alkylate the DNA and RNA that is present in the nucleus of the cell. And by the alkylation of the DNA RNA, what happen, because of they are you can say alkylating agents and alkylate to the DNA and RNA or nucleic acid. So what happen, the nucleic acid will not be acting properly and there will not be cell division, and in the cancerous cells this phenomena is used again, that if the DNA RNA or nucleic acid is not available, then cell can say will not be grow, will not be develop. Okay, so these are the alkylating agents, important category of can say using cancer therapy. Again I am revising the alkylating agents that can alkylate to the DNA RNA. This is miclormethamine, thiotepa, chlorambucil, the nitrogen mustard also. This is known as nitrogen mustard. Melphalan, this is called as phenylalanine mustard. Carmustine, lomustine, that is called as nitrosourea, and cyclophosphamide. So that is about you can say alkylating agents. So dear students, that's all for today. And the next class we will discuss about another drug, that is antibiotics, in the next video, next lecture. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.